the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We're streaming on all social media platforms and new shirts. If you want these shirts, let us know. Message them blue, black, and white, dry fit, and cotton. Get back to us if you want. Great shirts. Man, we're in the midst of every sports fan's dream. We have so much going on in sports. We are 1 week away from the NFL season starting. I cannot wait for that. We will have a preview show next Tuesday, predictions, Super Bowl winners, conference champions, and even some awards as well. So we'll have that next Tuesday. We'll talk about Big Blue and the future of Big Blue. I'm excited for it. You see Joe Judge diving around, having a lot of fun with the players. I guess the media can rip him for that too, I guess, for having too much fun. But let's start off.
The jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, right? The jury's still out. I like that. We'll be joined with D. Joseph McGuire in just a brief moment. We'll talk about the New York Yankees' struggles and why the kryptonite of the New York Yankees is the Tampa Bay Rays. And I did say at the beginning of the year, this might be the scariest team that the Yankees face all year trying to get to another World Series appearance. But let's start off with the NBA. And Joseph, if you actually want to chime in and come on in with us, let's join. And there he is, DJ. Thank you for joining us as well as always. So Ted left me. He left me.
Just turn the
It feels like the NBA season.
That's what happens on live TV.
Yeah, right? So the NBA season, we get the bubble. The bubble's been great. The playoffs have been better than we all expected. I could speak for all of us. It's been amazing. Everything's been going well. The virtual fans, it's been great. The play on the court has been great. Last night, a little suspect with the refs taking over some games. But you look at it right now, 2 Game 7s, and they both came down to the wire. You're seeing stars emerge in this league now, and the NBA is in great hands. And this is why we always talk about the NBA and the NFL of doing a tremendous job of marketing their players because the young stars. And baseball struggles with that, and we always talk about it. But Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray.
But I think it's just hard to market a baseball guy.
When you have a guy like Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, you got to market big time players like that. Mike Trout is the best player, and Aaron Judge is in the biggest market.
Can I tell you the reason why? And I don't want to get off subject. I just want to make it real quick. I think as a baseball player, you only get maybe 3 or 4 bats a game, and then you're out in the outfield. And if you're a center fielder, maybe you get 3 or 4 fly balls. Where if you're a basketball player, you're going to get the ball. You could get it 45 times a game where it touches your hand, and sometimes 2 to 3 times in one possession. And then in football, other than the linemen, all the skill positions, because of fantasy sports, which is huge, and they're just teams, and they're bigger.
But that's why
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. That's why baseball has its struggles. That's why the NBA is doing well, and the NFL is right as well because of all these stars. Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, just a handful of guys. Devin Booker. The league's in good hands. But there's also some surprises going on right now. The Milwaukee Bucks, down 2-0. The defending champs, down 2-0. I'm just going to point this out there. I did have the Celtics against the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I had the Miami Heat back in before all COVID even happened, going to the NBA Finals. Don't want to believe me? If you want to go check out Keys to the City, go check out our past shows.
I had the Raptors.
That is the truth and the whole truth, but nothing but the truth. The thing I want to talk about is the Milwaukee Bucks. And they have, we all think, a superstar, one of maybe the best players, if not the best player in the game. But Richard Jefferson made a very interesting tweet last night. And, Joe, you got to see this firsthand. Ted, maybe you were too young. I don't know if you were young enough to see Jordan and Pippen.
Yeah.
You got to see him. But the tweet was, and, Joe, if you want to pop that tweet up, if you do have it, it's Scottie Pippen, is Giannis might be a Pippen. And there he said it. He needs his Jordan. So let's bring it back. And I'm going to ask both of you, Ted.
Maybe
I'm going to
start.
I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to ask you, Ted, and then I'll ask Joe.
See, this is right up Joe's alley because
he's
a big Pippen fan.
Joe's a Scottie Pippen fan. I'm going to ask you, Ted, first. How do you feel about these comments? Do you feel as though Giannis is a Pippen, and does he really need a Jordan? Because we all think that Giannis is a top 5, top 3 player, right? I think we can all agree. Maybe other than LeBron and Kawhi, maybe even KD. Is he a Pippen?
Why?
Are we starting to come to the realization that he's a Pippen?
Did you see what I wrote to you last night when you tagged me in the thing online? What did I write?
I don't remember.
I said I agree.
I tagged him in a lot of sports things. I tag you guys in a lot of things.
I said I
Yeah,
agreed.
you do.
I said I agreed right now.
Right now, though.
I right now. You could say that. You could start off as a Pippen, which is not bad because he's a Hall of Famer, one of the 50 best basketball players of all time.
Don't tell Joe that.
I mean, listen, what more can you say? The guy was a defensive player of the year multiple times.
Yep.
He's going to probably win the MVP, 2-time MVP.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he is. He's an unbelievable athlete who can play. He can play guard all 5 positions, can rebound, can pass. His only problem is he can shoot. Now, being a Pippen, is that an insult? I don't think so. He's a Hall of Famer. He's an All-Star.
Yes.
According to Joe, it is.
Listen,
It's an insult. No. Listen, guys, don't be delusional here.
What do you mean?
No, when has anybody ever said, you know what? You're going to be the next Lou Gehrig, kid. Nobody talks like that. Lou Gehrig is like the sidekick to Babe Ruth, which is so unfortunate because he probably is the greatest first baseman of all time.
But how many guys are Michael Jordan?
0.
Kobe's a
0.
closer.
And again, when you talk about the company of who's in there, maybe it's Kobe and it's maybe LeBron, and you have to argue those guys into the conversation. That's how clear-cut it is. Saying that you're a Scottie Pippen is an insult. Scottie Pippen, by the way, tweeted back to Jefferson last night and said, I'm not Giannis. I don't have back-to-back league MVPs, in parentheses. He will in a matter of days, and he's not me. The question is, to Richard Jefferson, who were you as a player?
Oh.
Burn.
Bang.
Again, when I say, hey, you're another Richard Jefferson, I'm not saying you're a superstar. I'm not saying you're in the league of Michael Jordan. So, yes, by virtue of saying you're Scottie Pippen, it was a cheap shot at Giannis. It's not his fault. I mean, they're playing their hearts out. The Heat's 6-0. It's a good team. There's a reason why you picked them to advance pretty far here, and they've done nothing but play really good basketball.
And they match up really well with the Bucks. They really do. They have. First of all, I talked to Charles last night at 12:20 in the morning.
Oh, you come home from work. That's what happens.
First of all,
late night conversations.
Are you gonna interrupt me?
Yes, I am.
First of all, you ruined my whole part.
Go ahead.
First of all, Spoelstra is out coaching.
He's a great coach.
Great coach. We didn't give him
coach.
credit when he had LeBron there. We just thought, hey, listen, LeBron run the show, and he was just, this, you do this and you do this. He's a great coach. There was a reason why he was hired by Pat Riley. He was the guy to have LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. He was the guy that coached the team. It's hard to coach teams like that. Listen, especially a LeBron James team, because he's so intelligent, so powerful with his persona and everything about basketball, that he has to respect you too as a coach. Or like we've seen with multiple coaches of LeBron, you get run out of town once LeBron says, hey, this guy ain't good enough. They match up perfect. Bam.
It's because of their defense.
Jimmy Butler, the kid that they drafted, Tyler Hero that they drafted out of Kentucky, is a splash bucket guy all day long. Yeah. Goran Dragic, who was an all-star at one time for the Phoenix Suns, get traded. Now he comes off the bench. They have so much depth. You see why Jimmy Butler left the Philadelphia 76ers.
Remember everybody bashed him for it? I love the move that Jimmy Butler went there.
And here's another thing. Giannis' team, the Bucks, he's a great star player, and he puts up the numbers. You look, he's like, he's got 28, 13, and 9. What more can you ask for a guy? Where is his role players? Where's the bench? Where's Middleton? Where is Bledsoe? Where is Brook Lopez? Are all the other role players?
But let me ask you this.
You know what? Not for nothing, though. Where's his Pippen? How come he doesn't get a Pippen?
Because
LeBron's got a Pippen.
Middleton's not a Pippen. Middleton's
not. I understand that. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's fair to say to Giannis that you're a Pippen. You'll recall before Jordan started winning championships, he was scoring 35, 45, 50 points a night and losing games.
Yes.
And it wasn't until he got the good supporting the cast and he got a Scottie Pippen before he started winning championships. So I think the better question is, when are they going to get a Scottie Pippen for Giannis so he can
that's the question. Can they? Because they're in Milwaukee and quick.
Maybe that's why they talked about.
But this is 2 straight postseasons right now. And last year against Kawhi, this year against Jimmy and the Heat, he's struggling. They're dissecting him as the play. I know he's so dominant.
He can't shoot.
He's not a great shooter. He's been improving each and every year. I get that. But realistically, we know what Giannis is. He's a guy that's going to drive to the basket. He's got the long legs, and he's going to get a dunk. He's going to get layups. It's that easy.
So you crowd the lane and make them shoot.
But the past 2 postseasons, we've seen the Bucks get dissected by great defensive teams, and right now, you're seeing it, and that's why the Heat are up 2-0. And I said it. This is a bad matchup for the Bucks. This has been a very bad matchup for the Bucks. And an interesting stat: good news for the Heat, bad news for the Bucks. The Heat are 13-0 all time when leading 2-0 in the best of series. Now the Bucks are 0-14 when down 0-2 in a best of 7 series. So I don't know what history is going to say, but right now the Miami Heat are jumping all over the Bucks, and the number 1 seed is in some serious trouble right now.
But can we talk about last night's game, Joe? Did you see it? Here's the thing: this game got taken over by the officials in the last minute of the game. We were talking about this. I was watching the game, and I'm like, "What?" Oh, listen, I could speak on this because I'm an official. I think sometimes there's 2 mottos: either you swallow your whistle and let the players play the game, because the way I was taught in certain things was, unless you want the foul to be so big that everyone knows, don't be involved in the game, don't be critical. And I think once that official made that call on Goran Dragic on the 3-point shot by Middleton to tie the game up when they were up 114-11, you almost had the assumption that there was going to be a makeup call on the following play, and there was. Do I think either one was a foul? No, I think they were petty. I really think they were petty. I mean, Goran Dragic stood and went like this, put his hand straight up and did not move, didn't lean into him. The shooter went into the defensive player. So you can't fault the defensive player. What are you supposed to do, back up and let him get the free shot? I can understand there's contact, but sometimes you just got to swallow the whistle. And then the foul was kind of after the shot when Giannis's arm was on Jimmy Butler's leg.
It's just you don't want to have calls come down to the wire like that. I've seen it.
The last 7.7 seconds, you don't want the game to be taken over by an official. We've seen too many times in football games where you get a pass interference late in the game when it should have never happened, and now the team's inside the goal line to kick a game-winning field goal, and it's like, I mean, come on, you can't do that.
It's funny. The Eastern Conference already has 2 games under their belt and about to be 3 with the Celtics tonight, and the Western Conference side hasn't even started yet. So the Clippers play tonight against the Nuggets. That should be fun. My Lakers play the Rockets. I can't wait for that. The Celtics and the Heat right now, boy, oh boy, they look like they're on a path to, I don't know right now who's going to, if that became the Eastern Conference Finals, just because they have all the right ingredients to win a championship. They got a go-to player. They got a great coach. They got great defensive players, and they got good role players.
I bet you
both of these teams look like they're just a better team. This is why I said with the Raptors, everybody's like, oh, the Raptors are so much better now. No, this is where a Kawhi Leonard hurts. Not having a Kawhi Leonard, a go-to scorer, a dominant player. And Jason Tatum is a superstar. I don't care what anyone says. Jason Tatum is right now a top 15, close to top 10. He's that good right now. The Celtics look great. The Heat look great. They're on a war path right now to be playing in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'll mark my words. I bet you if the Bucks lose the series, they have to make a severe move in the offseason. Because here's the thing, it's Milwaukee. Hold on, they have one more. And I mean trade, Trev. I'm not talking free agents. There's nothing. They got to make a huge trade.
The trade's going to be Giannis.
And here's the thing: they're going to have to pull Raptors, where you say, "Hell with it. We're going to go all in next year with Giannis," because if not, they got him for one more year.
Do they have good enough players?
You got plenty of players. You got Conklin. You got Vincenzo. You got Middleton. You got the Lopez brothers. You have Eric Bledsoe.
You have good enough players.
Absolutely. I just named them.
That's not good enough. I'm sorry. For what do you want? What are you looking? What did
the Raptors give up to get Kawhi?
DeMar DeRozan
He's not that great.
He's better than any Buck player.
Not if you package 3 players up together.
So who are you getting? Please enlighten me right now.
I don't know because I'm not an executive. I'm just saying if they don't win,
serious about it. But
if they don't win, they're going to have to make a trade because the year after he becomes a free agent and he's leaving.
Yeah,
because
plain and simple.
So either you would go with the team again that hasn't gotten you to a championship 2 years in a row and go for a 3rd year and think all of a sudden you're going to win games. So you make the move. You either say hell with it and I'm going to suffer and hope he stays with him, or I go all in and say hopefully it's good enough.
Giannis, see you later. That's it.
You're not trading Giannis.
Well, it's going to happen because he's not going to want to stay there. If they lose again and they lose embarrassingly, again as a #1 seed.
Could you really see them trading? I'm just asking.
Well, if he wants out, you're going to have to do something.
You don't know that, though.
Well, who knows? If you get swept by a team that you should beat, plain and simple, or if you even lose, you think he's going to want to stay another whole year?
So what happens next year?
Give me a break.
Sorry, Joe. I know it's getting crazy, but if you go all
It's
in,
just passion.
okay, if you go all
Wait
in,
till we get to the Yankees.
okay, so if you go all in next year and you win the championship, maybe you'll get him to stay.
He's not winning.
You got to take Joe. Do you agree that it's either with a superstar
we're hurting Joe's here?
if you're that young?
Well, I want to agree with Ted here, Trev. So you're probably
That's
going to
fine.
wish you didn't
That's
tell
fine.
him to be quiet.
It's
Now, I'll
usually
tell
like
you,
that.
I guess here's the way I see it. You know, if you're the Bucks, okay, you've got, as you said, a top 3, top 5 player in the league in Giannis, a guy who his teammates really seem to like.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be a problematic player in any way, shape, or form. You're telling me there's nobody in free agency coming up that might want to be his wingman out in Milwaukee? Here's the thing about the NBA as opposed to Major League Baseball. Nobody's going to play for the Milwaukee Brewers. No one's interested in that as a destination. I think when you're talking about the NBA, and I think when you're talking about having a guy like Giannis on your team, a good team that's clearly like one good guy short of possibly winning a championship, maybe running off a couple, I think that would be very appealing to a variety of guys. And look, if you have to trade half your roster to go out and get somebody, do that. The culture of the NBA is that
My last question, who would it be?
Listen, I don't know. You got to find somebody who can complement Giannis like Pippen complimented Jordan. That's what you need.
I think you need a shooter, someone who can spot, because you know he likes to clog the lane kind of like LeBron. He likes to drive. So, you know.
Well, you got to find shooters that's a shooter league right now. But the Bucks are struggling. I agree. I understand what you're trying to say. If they lose again, they got to go find somebody. It's just, is somebody going to want to stay or go to Milwaukee? And who's a player that you're going to try to trade for?
Well,
realistically, who is a player?
Here's what you got for free agents coming up. I'll just give you a quick list. Gordon Hayward, Paul Millsap, DeMar DeRozan, Otto Porter Jr., Andre Drummond, Anthony Davis, Whiteside. Batum.
There's nobody that's
nobody
enticing. Anthony Davis is going to sign with the Lakers.
It looks like
DeRozan might go to the Heat, which is a possibility.
There's no one big.
There's nobody big. So how are you going to trade for somebody and try to help Giannis? All I know is the Bucks, the Heat, or the Celtics look good right now. The Bucks are struggling. Right now, the Heat and Celtics look like the teams to beat. The Western Conference is still up for debate. We haven't seen them play yet, though.
Would you agree in the NBA, if I don't want to play for the team I'm on currently, I could get myself traded?
Just ask Anthony Davis.
It happens all the time in the NBA. Someone you may not even suspect on another team might be just hating on things and thinking, I'd love to go play with Giannis.
Just ask, Anthony Davis.
Especially if you're on a bad team. Especially if you're on a bad team, you're like, listen, I'm going to risk it. 1 year I got left on my contract. Maybe the team, it's a good deal.
Go trade for Devin Booker.
Yeah, okay.
Sure, right, Ted. I mean, think about it.
Just the guy that I'm saying. I know.
If I'm in the last year of my deal and I get traded to the Bucks to team up with Giannis, maybe to win a championship, I'm going to win 50 games in a full season, right? If that's happening in 2021, I'm going to put up some numbers playing wingman to Giannis. Then I hit the free agent market, maybe with a championship. Yeah, I've just like doubled my paycheck. Anybody in this league who's on a team that's not the Lakers, the Rockets, the Clippers, the Bucks, the Celtics, anybody else would love to be on that team. So
I 100% agree.
The Bucks will have to get creative and go out and find the right situation, because if they don't, look, Jordan couldn't do it by himself, and to expect Giannis to is not fair. And to try to relegate him to Pippen status when he doesn't have a Pippen of his own is kind of a silly statement.
Plain and simple. Everybody needs a LeBron needs a star. Kobe needs a star. Jordan needs a star. They need another star, a complimentary guy to help them out. That's what they need, plain and simple. Right now, the Bucks are in trouble. We'll see what happens. The Celtics and Heat look great. Western Conference semifinals start tonight with the Nuggets Clippers. We'll see how that goes. But the NBA playoffs is looking great. I'm excited. We're down to the Elite Eight. And I can't wait to see what happens. All I know is the Lakers are still alive, and I'm excited to see. But let's get over to one of my other teams right now, and a team that is just struggling, desperately needing some kind of hope, some kind of bounce in their step right now, and it's the New York Yankees. They're getting, let's just say, they're getting their asses kicked by the Tampa Bay Rays. Finished 2-8. The season series is over, Joe, and we saw the other night. This is the new rivalry right now because the Red Sox are in full rebuild mode. So it's right now the Rays, and the Rays have been owning the Yankees. You had the incident the other night. Chapman gets suspended 3 games. Aaron Boone got suspended more than Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, and all these guys. I just don't get it. What is with how Aaron Boone gets ejected and Chapman? I know he went for headhunting. Anytime you see a guy trying to go head on it, I don't approve of that. It's just dangerous, and especially 101 mile per hour fastball to the head, Joe. We talked about that a couple times. That's a scary sight right there. You don't want to see something like that.
You think it was on purpose, Joe?
I don't know.
Yes.
But it's been going. It's been brewing for years. It's been going on for years now between these rosters. That's the thing.
Joe, it's funny because I was listening to Danny Cannell yesterday, and he goes, if you just look up Aroldis Chapman and Google him, from his minor league years to the Reds years to the Yankees, the thing there was always the same thing. Has control issues. We've seen him lose control of pitches before. Remember the Twins game last year, the one that the Twins came all the way back, and it's. I thought you were raising your hand.
I am going to raise my hand, and I'll tell you why. The Yankees have hit 19 Rays since the start of 2018.
See, this is
it happens a lot. I think if you're the Rays, look, he was pretty adamant that he didn't do it on purpose, but who's going to say that you did? That's not a really smart move. Yanks are 2-8 against the Rays, 18-7 against the rest of the league, and you're right. We've talked about the struggles that they've had. It seemed like it was really more they struggled when they were in Tampa. So to be home and to see all of the same results is absolutely
it's very concerning. And I said at the beginning of the year when we did our preview show that this was the one team I thought scared me the most because I didn't see the A's scaring me because I know the Yankees have the A's number.
Well, we don't know that because we don't play them.
Well, I know, but the Twins, I know the Yankees have their number. The Astros,
we assume based on previous
knowledge. The Astros look like they're struggling badly right now, that whole team, whatever. But I always thought the Rays, because they had just so much balance. They had a great manager in Kevin Cash. They had great hitters, contact and power, and also
best statement Steve Rizzo's made.
Yes,
all season.
Thanks,
and they have everything you want. Great bullpen, great pitching staff, plain and simple. And like you just said, they're 2-8 against the Rays, 18-7 versus others. When they play the Rays, averaging 3.4 runs per game, OPS 683. When playing everybody else, 5.4 and an 818 OPS. My thing is, I was just looking at the roster. Joe, do you know there's 7 players on the New York Yankees that are under 200 and 10 that are under 250? That's a problem.
Right.
That's concerning as me for a team that has great talent, has great hitters, and this is where we always retract on these statements is this is the Yankees for you. The power, we get the power, but the contact, the clutch hitting, it seems like it's not there again, other than guys like Gio and DJ LeMahieu. I'm not even saying Voit has been unbelievable right now for the New York Yankees. He's carrying this offense, but to see that, and I keep saying everybody say Boone, point the finger. It's not Boone's fault. These guys got a freaking hit. When you got 7 players under 200 as a major league professional athlete, and then 10 under 250, that's not Aaron Boone's fault. So stop saying that garbage. Please.
Yeah, even Gardy this year is batting under 200.
It's a problem when you see
hold
that
on.
much.
You guys, I'm going to give you just real quick. I'm going to give you a bad news, good news scenario. Okay, since August 18th, the Yankees as a team are hitting 202, on base percentage 301, slugging 368. Horrible.
That's horrible.
Since August the 9th, the Yankees bullpen is a 5.61. That's 24th in the league. Meanwhile, the starters are throwing to a 3.46, which is 5th in baseball. Okay? Here's the good news. The Yankees' record in 2019, after 34 games, 20-14, everything worked out. It will be okay. You're going through a lot of injuries.
No,
you
I
talk
know.
about what a great lineup it is, but half your lineup is out.
But the difference is
Mark
that
Teixeira was saying yesterday, you've got again another like AAA lineup that the Yankees are going out there. You just got DJ LeMahieu back. That'll be great. Voit obviously has been carrying this team, but you've got guys out all over the place. Short spring training, not enough a chance to gel. Guys like Gary Sanchez will be what they are. Maybe it's just a lot of home runs and a really low batting average.
The problem
they can win games that way, though.
it's not 162 games, and I think that's why Yankee fans are nervous. And I was just talking about, like, if the Yankees get to the playoffs, they don't get to a World Series. I mean, when are we saying, okay, how many times are we going to be satisfied? I didn't know that we became like, I don't know, the Detroit Tigers. When you get to the playoffs and we're happy with that. Like, we're the New York Yankees. We've been waiting to get to a World Series, not even just win a World Series, but get to a World Series. And we feel like you get Cole. I know the injuries. The injury bug hit us again.
But there should not be an excuse because the Rays. You see the injuries the Rays have too.
There shouldn't be, because we saw it last year. They did it last year, and they did it better than any team I've ever seen.
I'm so sick of making excuses for the guys. You're in the major leagues for a reason, because you're a major league baseball. If you're not, you should have been on the bus with the 60-man roster that's sitting in the backyard. Okay, Aaron Hicks. I'm sick of it. Like we talk about this for the last 3 years since we've done the show. Switch hitter can't hit the damn ball. I mean, what excuse? He had spring training. He's been hurt. He had another spring training. Okay. How many at-bats has he had since he's been back? Enough to be able to hit the ball. I know, Gary Sanchez, he'll probably get it through eventually. He might be at 200 by the end of the year with 10 home runs. I mean, like,
means Joe doesn't
here's the other thing. Urshela's he hasn't been as clutch as he was last year. He's still doing his thing. He plays a great defensive third baseman. Third base. Gardner last year had almost 30-something home runs. He's batting 173, so he's not in the ball. Clint Frazier, thank God we have him, and they're actually playing him. He's actually played a great defense. What an unbelievable catch he had the other night, full extension in right field.
That was a sick play. I'm not going to
I get so frustrated because at the end of the day, like, we want to make excuses for these guys. But you also don't want to come down on him because it's like, who the hell am I? You're just some guy sitting in your basement doing a show. But there's a reason why some guys are clutch and can continually play well. Like, what makes the Rays players any better than the Yankees players? Like, they have there's a list. If you look at the pitchers that the Rays are missing this year, it's unbelievable the amount of injuries throughout the whole league. Let's not just talk about the Yankees, throughout the league.
And I'm not being like these Yankees. I'm not being like these Yankee fans on Twitter that say, "Oh, let's fire Boone and this and that and change everything." I saw an article somebody posted saying that is Garrett Cole's already contract just a terrible contract. Like, saying, was this a bad decision? Like, what? Because he's had 2 bad games, and all of a sudden we want to say that? Like, just what is wrong with these people? Why does social media give anybody the platform nowadays? Why?
Well, you should have seen the platform after the basketball game last night.
It blows my freaking mind that this is why I don't like social media, but I also love social media, because you got the platform, but you have that platform. Then you got people saying, "Oh, you got to fire this guy and do that and that." It's like, shut the hell up. What the hell would you do any better? And I'm just so annoyed with it. I'm not going to be one of these Yankee fans that are going to fire everybody. This team's horrible. No, but it is concerning to see that
there's just an expectation as a Yankee fan that you believe.
But these Yankees fans are idiots, man. Nowadays, these Yankee fans are idiots compared.
They're no different than any of the old days, bro.
I don't know.
Did you know the last 3 times that the Yankees have scored the tying or go-ahead run on their final out has all been by Aaron Hicks? So, again, to suggest he's not clutch, it was his 4th game-tying home run as a Yankee in his career in the 7th inning or later. I mean, right? Here's the thing. I'm just saying, look, perception sometimes, isn't reality. It's, have you guys noticed how often Brett Gardner pops up now that I talked about it?
Yeah, right.
We laughed about that last
time. I watch the games every single game. Like, I watch every single game, so I'm not speaking. I'm just watching the highlights and see. I watch the game.
Sure. Listen, I predicted. I was listening to the radio when Hicks stepped into the box, and asked Risser. He could tell you. I was like, Hicks is going to go yard here. He's going to tie this bad boy. I knew it. That's his spot.
What game was this?
When did Hicks hit the tying home
game against the Mets? I think that was on.
Oh, the Mets.
And then your boy Sanchez.
It's just unfortunate because if you take the Red Sox games out of the Yankees roster, they're way below.
Or not even that, just everybody else. I mean, 18-7.
Yeah, but
they're destroying everybody.
But 18-7. But take the what is it? 8
they're
wins
destroying everybody else. But when they play the Rays, it's their kryptonite. They can't find a way.
Look, I think too. You got to look. Jay Happ has pitched outstanding in his last 2 starts. He's got an 0.77 ERA his last 2 starts. He's been really good. David Garcia, obviously outstanding. Mm-hmm. So
he's going to have to be a much more formidable guy in the lineup or in the rotation. I believe.
Tanaka's been better. I think
Yes, he
Cole's
has.
going to be fine. So I still think the Yankees pitching is going to be fine. Right now the problem's the bullpen. I think the bullpen's got to get right. Britton will be
Cole's
back.
had a better year. Cole's had a better year than Clemens and CeCe in his first 6-7 starts.
Well,
or something
that
like
and we
or
need
10 starts. He's
and
had a
I
better
don't
year.
have any issue with it. I think Garrett Cole's great.
I'm not worried. Yeah, I'm not worried about Cole at all. I'm more worried about the lineup right now. I'm not. The lineup is struggling right now, and we'll see. They play the Orioles, or they play the Mets today at 4:00 for I think it's one of their makeup games, and then tomorrow they got a doubleheader against the O's. So we'll see how that goes.
That could be a big series because the Orioles, they're still
But right now
there.
the Yankees have struggled. Thank God they're not playing the Rays for the rest of the year until maybe the playoffs. But right now they have a lot of injuries, and we'll see how it goes. Ted, you got one more question?
One last question before we got to go. Joe, were you surprised that the Yankees didn't make any moves whatsoever? I mean, I know I sent you a thing. They signed another catcher, Brantley, from the
I
Giants.
know everybody wanted Clevenger, but it was going to be a steep.
I know what you're
It's gonna
saying.
be a steep
I'm
price.
saying no, and with respect.
Well, sure, yeah, that would have cost you. That would have cost you Clint Frazier, and right now the Yankees can't afford to get rid of Clint Frazier.
And probably
They can't
Andujar.
afford to
Probably
part with
Andujar.
Andujar. You can't even part with Davy Garcia or Jonathan Loaiza because of all the injury problems and your lack of depth. The Yankees just right now aren't in a position to be trading depth. They really don't have enough of it because they need it. And again, I don't think there's any glaring weakness on the Yankee. I think
And Joe always says when the trade deadline ends, you'll be having Stan and Judge and
like
Torres
last year, they'll all get
right?
back.
But my only question
if the Yankees play like they should and people get healthy, they'll be fine. If guys underperform or guys don't come back, off the injury list, well, this is going to be the crappiest year of all time officially.
and how will they play when they do come back from injury because of such a shortened season? And I just read a thing. Will Yankee fans eventually turn on Aaron Judge if the
That's what
injury
another-
thing comes again? It's something to at least think about going.
Joe, let me
forward.
ask you a quick question before we sign off. We got just a couple minutes, very brief. I would be wrong if I didn't mention. We do talk about the Mets sometimes, and you got to see this pitcher live, Tom Seaver. R.I.P. to the best pitcher, maybe the best player. I shouldn't say maybe the best player in New York Mets history. Joe, you got to see him. What was he like? And it's just sad to see that
I
he
guess
lost
it
his
was
life.
an unbelievable
He was
guy, he
unbelievable.
said.
So tell me
Unbelievable.
quickly before we
Let
get
me
out.
tell you guys something. I was actually at the game August 4th, 1985, and literally watched this unbelievable pitcher throw his 300th win against the New York Yankees, and it was a complete game because it was 85, even though he was like 43 at the time. A great pitcher, a great guy. I feel bad for Mets fans. I mean, Tom Terrific is somebody they'll always love. He was great with the Reds, too. I know they're really passionate about that guy. A great guy for baseball. He did spend some years with the Yankees as an announcer when I was younger and was just always a great baseball guy. And for me, anytime a legendary player passes, I'm about to cry. And I, honest to God, don't care about Tom Seaver, but I wish I would have thought about this. I actually, about 50 feet behind me, have the ticket in glass from his 300th game with the baseball card from that year.
A tragic loss for the Met family. So we say
Tragic
rest in
loss for
peace.
the baseball
We say
family.
rest in peace to Tom Seaver, and our thoughts and prayers are with the entire Seaver family. Joseph, as always, thank you, my friend.
Awesome. We'll see you guys soon.
See you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again. We are Keys to the City. We're streaming on all social media platforms, Spotify, as well as YouTube at Keys to the City. New shirts, if you want them, let us know. Message us, please. Next week, the NFL season is upon us. We are 1 week away from the NFL season. Cannot wait to see. We're going to have a preview show Tuesday. Can't wait. I'm excited. We're in the midst, all sports fans. Guess what?
all here.
We waited for so long. We waited for
football,
months.
baseball,
We
back-
got playoff hockey's been excellent.
four majors.
The NBA playoffs have been great. The MLB is getting down to crunch time. The NFL is coming around, and also college football.
We're gonna have
Is-
5 major sports all at the same
Right
time.
now, it's a
Sports
dream.
fans,
Let's enjoy, because right now sports is back and sports is better than ever. I'm excited. I know we are, and I know Joe is as well. Joseph, as always, thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcast and cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.